Hey, what's up, practitioners? I'm excited about this video because we're going to be showing you how to do this and make these types of videos so you can get more engagement for growing your business. If you're new to this channel and want to learn more about how to grow your business and using social media in different ways like this video that we're going to be talking about, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, go ahead and like this video if you like this video and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any other future videos that we do on this channel. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay, so first thing, obviously we're doing this in Adobe Premiere, so that's how I'm going to show how to do these videos if you have Adobe Premiere. So first thing, obviously you're going to want to start a new project, and basically what I'm going to be doing is just titling this project. Okay, so once you have actually titled it, move on to here. Now, the first thing, obviously you're going to be doing a video. This is a long format, so if you've done like a 10-minute video, you're going to drag it to the timeline. So we've already done this video, so I'm going to drag that into the timeline. So we're going to drag the video onto the timeline, so whatever video format you want to use, drag that onto there. Once that is loaded, then we obviously move it to the timeline, drop it in there. Then once you have the video on the timeline, you're going to want to change the sequence. So if you're doing this for Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, any social media, I usually like to change this to square. It's easier to look at. It's more appealing because people are looking at it on the phone. So to change to square, you're going to want to hit sequence settings. And then you're going to change up here to 1080 to 1080. Once that's done, the next thing I like to do is go ahead and you click on the actual video to resize it. So you go over here in position, go ahead and click over here and change the size. All right, so once that's done, once you've kind of positioned it where you'd like, the next thing is to actually move in the subtitles. Now, where I get my subtitles done, you can do this in any kind of format, but that's for probably a later video. I do it at rev.com. I'll leave a link below. They'll actually put your subtitles in your YouTube videos for you and make captions. So it's easy. They give you the file and it's a .srt file. So you definitely want to go and grab that, drag that in to your media form right here. Then you just drag it onto the timeline, plop it right there. And there you go, you see the subtitles there. Now, obviously, they're not going to be the most perfect size, so you want to change that. And how you're going to change that is you're going to go ahead and click on subtitles. Now, with this, you always have to make sure that you select all. So everything, if you want change, you select everything. Then you're going to want to obviously adjust to centerize it. That's what I usually will do. To put in the center just because it seems to format there, and you want to change the size. I typically will probably put it in about 50 to change everything there. Okay, so once you have your subtitles in there and adjusted the size, you obviously need to move where you want the subtitles to be. Obviously, you don't want them in front of the face. So how we do that is make sure you're clicked on the subtitles there. You're going to change the position. I usually will bring that down right below. Okay, so once that is done, then you're going to want to bring in a background. I usually don't typically like it just black. I will change it to a white background. And so how we're going to do that is you bring in a color matte. So back here on the timeline, go to you need to go to your project, media project, and then bring this out just a little bit. Click on the new items here. And you're going to click on color matte. Make sure it's 1080 by 1080, 30 frames per second. Hit OK. Then, of course, choose any color you want. I'm going to go with white. Click that. Hit OK. Got it right there. Drag it onto the timeline right here. Usually, you're going to want your subtitles above everything else. And, of course, the color matte on the bottom. So, like so. And then you drag that all the way to the end of the timeline here. And we're going to just zoom in, zoom out. The next thing you're going to want to do is, of course, change these titles background color. I don't like it black, so go ahead and click on your subtitles again. Make sure, always remember to right-click, hit select all. You always want, if you're changing anything, click everything to select all, so you're not just changing one segment. So then what you do is you go to, obviously, to change the background color. you're going to go to background color and you're going to bring that 100% down to 0. So there it's blank. Now you can hardly see it, so obviously we need to change the color of the background. How you do that is you go to there. Obviously you don't want white. Let's just say red for right now. Make it simple. So I'm going to change the font. Change it to Franklin Gothic Heavy. There we go. Now the other thing you want to do is as you're going through is you're going to want to make sure that it's not too big. The font's too big there. So obviously you're going to want to change the font size maybe down to about 46. There we go. Okay, so the next thing then, obviously why we do this is to make segment videos. So you could do a long format video where this will be, could essentially be 6 to 8 different clips because it's over a 10-minute video. So I'm going to usually pick a spot. I'm going to fast forward this through this. Is just pick a spot where you want to cut it. So just to kind of start to kind of show you, first thing I usually like to do is to link everything and then just go ahead and link it. Another thing that you can do to really speed the process is hitting L to kind of edit through fast. Every time you hit L, it will double the speed. And so you can see this is really going through real fast. And so I can see where I want to edit. So the trick is obviously finding a spot where you want to cut and end it. So going through here, I found a spot where I first introduced myself right here. So right here where I say, I just want to introduce myself. So that's probably where I want to cut. So once you've actually found that spot, usually I'm going to zoom in and zoom out. Again, a trick is that is plus and minus. That's just a simple editing trick. So you can zoom in or zoom out by hitting minus. So how you could see where I say I just, and you see the you can see the waveform right here. Once you see that waveform, that's probably right where you want to cut it. And also where the text just shows right there. So another thing as far as to cut, a really quick trick for a shortcut is Control-K to cut the segment. And then another trick that you can actually do to kind of move everything, delete everything so you not have to physically do it with your arrow is actually Shift-Delete. And it moves everything over so it makes the process of editing a lot faster. And then of course you want to find out where you're going to end the video. So scrubbing through. Okay, so I found my spot right here, right when I say so. Like I said in this video, obviously that's where I'm going to cut it right there. And like before, you're going to zoom in, making sure the waveform is right where, so that's a perfect spot where it ends right there. So you're going to cut it. Remember, Control-K. And then obviously we're going to be doing several segments of these types of videos. And so what you're going to do is highlight over here and then just move this over to the side, because now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on just this video clip right here. Okay, so the next step obviously is we're going to want to make a nice fancy title right here, and in order to do that we're going to use Photoshop, or you can use Paint Tool SI or any kind of thing that actually makes text edit titles you can use. So the thing that you want to do is click over here where you export the frame to capture the image so we know how to position the title correctly. So obviously I'm going to put this wherever you want to drop it. Doesn't matter where you put it at. I'm just going to put this in my files over here. Okay, once that's done, we're going to open up Photoshop and then of course create new project. You want to make sure it's 1080 by 1080. Make sure it's transparent. 300 resolution's fine. Go ahead and hit create. So now we have a new project here. What you're going to do is of course drop in the image that we just captured. Pulling that from our file here. So we grab that image, drop it in right there. So you see that's nice and perfect. So we see it is in the 1080p. We could see it, so then we know exactly how to position the title. So it's easy to just drag and drop. So once we have that, we're going to make a new layer. And once we have that new layer, of course, we're going to go hit the text tool over here. Go ahead and position it where you want it. And then, of course, pick any font you want. For me, again, I'm just going to keep it where it's at, Franklin Gothic Heavy. And usually what I usually decide as far as a title for these little small segments is maybe something that was eye-catching that you said in that small segment. So this, I talk about my struggles with ADHD. So, for a lot of people, I'm just going to put my struggle with ADHD. And then, of course, you're going to want to resize everything. So once you've kind of gone, obviously I'm not going to go in super detail. I usually would put images here that are simply you could drop in, but basically get the idea is you put, your title in there, make sure it's all, nice and centered, good, how you want it. And once you've done that, the other thing is also adding a progress bar. So that's where you kind of see where the video will go through and show how far along the video is. So obviously we want to make one of those. And what you're going to do over here is you're going to create another image. You're going to go over here and grab the rectangle tool and then put the progress bar just along right here. And then usually if it's black, on yours, this is where you could change the color. I'll just keep it red. And then of course you want to position it where you want. Another trick that I usually like, if sometimes with Photoshop, if you put Control T and then you highlight over here, it actually grabs so you can actually move it around. Okay, so once that is done, now you actually need to export each one of these, the title and the progress bar, separately as an PNG image. And how you do that is you want to make sure you go over here and unclick this and it's transparent. So let's first export the title. So you also want to hide the progress bar as well. Go up here, go to export and quick export as PNG. That's the best way to do it. And then of course drop it where you want it. Then you want to export obviously the red progress bar. Put it over there, hit file, export, quick export. Usually we'll pull up there and just, call it red progress bar and save. Okay, now we're going back to Premiere. So go ahead and close out of that. Bring up Premiere. So we're back on this project. Go ahead and hit there. What you're going to want to do is now unlink everything because we're going to be moving a lot of things around here as we're working. So bring up your media file, project files over here, and then drag in what we just made, the title, as well as the red progress bar. Okay, so then obviously we're going to want to move this guy just up one more right here. And we're going to bring in the title, which is right here. Drop that in, extend it out, there. So now you can see it's right there and it's in perfect alignment, and that's why we use the Photoshop. Then drop in the red progress bar, okay? So it's right there. Now you see the red progress bar is just a red bar, and obviously we don't want that. We want to see it where it's actually going along the progress bar as it's going. So how do we do that? We want to go up here to effects. So you're going to go up here in the effects search bar and just type in push. Grab this right here where it says push, drag it onto the red progress bar that you just dropped in. Go back to editing. You want to zoom in just a little bit and drag this to the very end of the timeline of the video. Perfect. Okay, now you can see how it is actually progressing, see? So that's what makes it really nice and cool, so people can see how far along the video is. Now, the next thing is to maybe have something at the end. So if you're doing this for LinkedIn or Facebook, anything like that, to have something at the end when the video is over to promote your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page, anything like that. So I'm just going to drop in what I have currently, which is just some LinkedIn stuff. So we drop that in, and it's just a simple thing that says, follow me on LinkedIn. Then what you're going to do is you're going to drag obviously this guy here because I like it all white. So you could see, follow me on LinkedIn. Okay, so now you're all done there. The last thing that you're going to do is make sure that you export just only this segment here. You don't want to export everything else because obviously you're going to cut these clips and do the same thing over and over again. But what you're going to do is you just want this. And another trick is to make sure you're going to the right segment is pushing the up and down key arrow will actually take you to each cut segment where you want it. So to just actually export just this video alone, you're going to press I for the beginning of the video, then press up, actually press down to the segment that you want it at, and press O. So you see how this is highlighted there? That is what's only going to be exported. Now, for some weird reason, I'm not sure why, but it does go a little over to kind of show that black there. I don't like that. I like to see it just end right where it says follow me on LinkedIn and not where it's black. So moving that over is going to be good. So once that is done, everything's highlighted, perfect. Now you're going to obviously export. I always like to make sure I save my stuff before I do that, just in case it crashes. And then you go down to export, export media. And you want to make sure it is at H.264 as well as match source at high bit rate. Sometimes you might have it in already set to 1920 by 1080. That is not what this file size. You want to make sure it matches the source, because remember, we changed the sequence to 1080 to 1080. And then all you do is you just hit export. Well, actually, usually you're going to name the project whatever you want, where you're going to drop it, and just hit save and export. And there you go. And just to show you guys, here's the video. You can kind of see that. And that's ready to use on any social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. It has that perfect format, has the subtitles going, the progress bar, all ready to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, as far as just learning how to make actually more engaging post videos just like that. If you have any further questions to me, elaborate on what I just did, leave it in the comment section below. And like I said, if you're new on this channel and want to learn all about, business, how to grow on social media, what kind of engagement, go ahead and hit the subscribe button over here. And then go ahead and check out these other videos of how I grow my business of getting more patients and clients throughout the years. So this is Dr. LeGrand signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.